This is Business Rockstars. Starting a business, finding the money, what you need to know to become a rock star entrepreneur.
Mark Cuban, been in the news a lot, said all good businesses are personal. The best businesses are very personal. Welcome back to Business Rockstars, where we help you to start, grow, and fund your business. You want to learn a little more about who we are, what we do? Are you a wantrepreneur that wants to become an entrepreneur? Go to businessrockstars.com. I'm Steve Lehman, guest hosting for Ken Rakowski, along with my co-host today. And in studio, a rock star voice recently celebrated his 22nd year as the voice of Fox Television, CBS TV. You have heard him on the Grammys, the Emmys, radio, television, movie promos. He's the voice of The Simpsons, NBC dramas, Heroes, ER, Law and Order. And he is the voice of Business Rockstars. He's a rock star entrepreneur. He has a book out called Living on Air. You may not recognize his face, but you'll certainly recognize his voice.
Homer needs a new name.
Can I be Johnny Undercover?
Because he's going inside the mob. What's the buzz on TV's #1 show?
You're good looking, very successful. Women settle for a lot less.
And thank God for that.
It's genuinely great.
We're just having breakfast.
Scrambled eggs and tongue. Nice.
And really funny. Long live 2.5 Men. Next time.
Anybody here a doctor?
House is in the house.
Morning.
Where did you come from?
Apes, if you believe the Democrats.
Feel better?
Animation Domination presents a quadruple feature that'll make you laugh so hard you're gonna get abs of steel.
What's going on, B-?
See bone-shattering action and dangerously hot romance. No!
No, Peter, that's not your catchphrase.
It all starts this Sunday, 8/7 Central on Fox.
Joe Cipriano,
wow,
voiceover rock
star.
Oh
my gosh! And it proves right there I can't keep a job. I mean, guys all over the freaking place.
So JoJo, welcome. You know, Joe
Steve,
and I have known each other for a long
my
time.
God, we were in radio for years together and worked together at KISS AM.
Yeah.
With a listenership of 12.
12 people. Yeah, it was fantastic.
You were
family
awesome.
is so important.
Yeah. So we brought them down to 0 as well.
It was perfect. So, Simon, let me explain to you Joe's day, all right?
Okay.
So, Joe will typically wake up maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, have a couple of cappuccinos.
Not true. That's not true
He
at all.
goes down into his studio.
Yes.
And got some liners in there from Fox. He'll go...
Sunday, it's an all-new Simpsons on Fox.
And then he'll go upstairs, get a massage, play some tennis, have another cappuccino, and then he goes downstairs and says,
Tonight, it's an all-new 2.5 Men on CBS.
Goes up, get a massage, starts the martinis, and so, I mean...
And then, after the martinis, it's like...
it's like, sure.
It's a lot of
So what's amazing about what you've done, Joe, is you started off in a small town as a disc jockey, right? Mm-hmm. And you then worked your way up to Los Angeles, which in and of itself is kind of a feat, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And you did the same. I mean, I started at my hometown radio station. I was 14 years old and called my favorite disc jockey and happened upon a great guy who let me come down to the radio station. And so I was a gopher, go for this, go for that. And I did that for 2 years, and when I turned 16, they hired me on the air.
And this was something you were passionate about, right?
Oh, very passionate.
Loved radio?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from an early, even earlier than 14, I remember going on a school trip, in fourth grade to a radio TV station in Hartford, Connecticut, and saying, we were in the TV studio. I go, wow, this is amazing. But then when we walked down the hall, and we're standing outside the glass window, and there were two guys doing a radio show, and we could hear them coming through the speaker. I said, that's what I want to do. Now, that's amazing.
I've seen my face in the mirror. That's what I want to do.
Exactly. That's who I want to be.
And it was a passion, everything, and I think it's true for all of us. I think if you have a passion for something, that's what drives you and makes you continue on that path, because there's no shortage of people that say, you can't do that. There's too many people that are already doing that. There are a lot more no's than yeses, and you just have to keep going, stay positive, and keep going forward.
See, where I was never that talented in radio, I transitioned into business. So there got to be there got to be 10,000 disc jockeys in the United States. So you make it to Los Angeles, which in and of itself is huge.
Yeah.
But at a certain point in time, where was that transition from, I'm a disc jockey.
Yeah.
I wonder if I ought to try to pivot and do something a little different.
Yeah. Early on, I think, actually my radio path was pretty simple. It went from hometown to Washington, D.C., and then luckily out to Los Angeles. And I'd always wanted to live in Los Angeles. When I was in D.C., I just became aware of those network voices, Ernie Anderson, The Love Boat, and all of these great voices. Danny Dark, who became a mentor of mine, and Don LaFontaine, also a good friend and mentor. And I said, wow, that's something I would like to do that. But all of those voices were not like this, where I am up here. There were all those big, deep voices, and there wasn't much of a chance. But when I got to Los Angeles, I believe in luck, but luck, of course, is timing and preparedness, and when they kind of intersect. And it just so happened that at that time, there was a brand new network called Fox that had just come on the air.
Right.
And they wanted to do everything different. They didn't want the big, deep voice, and they didn't want the safe programming like CBS used to have, the blue-haired programming.
Right.
They flipped everything, and they made, the programming cutting edge, and they wanted a voice that was that matched that.
You're listening to Business Rockstars. I'm Steve Lehman, and for Ken Rakowski, our guest co-host today, marketing guru Simon Manwaring, and my buddy and rock star voiceover, Joe Cipriano. Give me one, buddy.
Oh, let's see. Tonight, live from Staples Center in Los Angeles, it's the 42nd Annual Grammy Awards.
He completely intimidates you into silence.
Steve just points at you, and you go.
You've got to do it.
You know what's great is Simon's name. I mean,
Manwaring.
Oh, my God. It's like, and now the continuing adventures of Simon Manwaring.
I want you to underscore my entire life. Simon just walked through a door.
That's right.
But
Simon Manwaring, Private Eye.
Here's a question. There's no more market more competitive than the entertainment world. And there's always a premium, even more so today, on being new and young and fresh. How do you, as a solopreneur who's had such extraordinary success, not go over the hill?
Yeah, it's something that you have to work on continuously, and I do that. It's kind of like my mantra. I mean, I try to keep relevant. I mean, I think that's what it really comes down to. You have to understand what's happening in pop culture and how things are changing. Advertising and the way that, networks advertise and the way they present their promos for their shows, it's evolved and it's constantly changing. And yes, you're exactly right, Simon. They're always looking for the next voice and what's going to be the next voice. So what I try to do is just continue to alter my delivery, have a clear understanding of what the networks are going after, and then trying to mold my, what I have to offer.
You said something interesting. When Fox
That's
first...
impossible.
Well,
there's no way I could have said anything
We'll
interesting.
edit that out later.
It'll come back. When Fox launched, they wanted something different, right?
Yeah.
All ABC, NBC, CBS all had the same big voices.
Yes, right.
And you made a comment. You said, they wanted a guy with a higher voice. Now, you and I both worked radio together.
Right.
I always had a deeper voice. Somehow, now I've gone higher. And have you been doing injections and steroids? Your voice is like...
Every 2 weeks, I get an injection,
Your voice is
You're just
lower.
less of a man, Steve. I mean, what can we say?
I think it comes with wealth and
drinking fine bourbons.
Right.
Yeah, but
I think using your voice and continuing to use it, I think it mellows it out. And I'm also a big fan. People ask me about your voice and what do you do if you lose your voice, or do you have any exercises that you do? And I really don't. But I think what's important is just doing exercise, just being fit, and drinking lots of water, and all of that not only keeps you healthy, but your cords are.
They're an instrument.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
an instrument.
So you got to keep them healthy.
Right, fantastic. Hey, Charlie, is this a two? Are we two segment? One segment? Joe?
Charlie?
Well, all right. Okay, here's your book, Living on Air.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you don't have time to talk about it, and I know that's why you came here, was to talk about your book. But
I wanted to tell stories about you.
But here it is, Living on Air. My good buddy, Joe Cipriano. Hey, thank you so much,
Steve.
buddy.
What
Thanks
a
for
kick.
coming
Thanks,
in.
Simon.
And you can find Living on Air, Amazon.com,
Yeah.
Barnes & Noble. You are a rock star, my friend, and you're my buddy, and I appreciate you coming
Thanks,
in.
Steve. Thank you.
Coming up next, we have a business rock star who has been very disruptive, sold his company for $100 million. Interesting story. I'm Steve Lehman, and for Ken Rakowski all week. And you're listening to Business Rockstars.